Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wichita Vice.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
all right.
Cruising this multiverse. It's Captain Chris with a K.
Crashing through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man, your boy Big Don.
And this is your favorite. I'm sorry. This is your friendly neighborhood comic book nerd, Mr. Brett. That was a good intro.
I second that. This is your rated R comic book razzle dazzle, affordable philanthropist, cape on, superstar nerd Carlos. Welcome everyone to Wichita Vice. We're here. We're going to be talking about Cloak and Dagger, Mr. Negative, and Despair. We're also, do not forget, we're going to give away a gift certificate to our local Prairie Dog comic book store. And if you are not local, we will give you a gift certificate to Barnes & Noble. All you have to do is give us that support, like Hulk, smash that like, subscribe, tell us who's your favorite hero, and tell us why. And then until then, stay tuned. Also, we are going to do a special segment for Super Mario Brothers on our Silver Cosmo movie reviews. So until then, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Hey guys, why don't you check out She Barber Cuts Barbershop and give Markeisha Brown, the licensed professional barber there, a call at 316-218-3566 for all your haircut needs. She's got cuts for kids, adults, and for those looking for the good one, the deluxe with beard trims, wash, and hot towels. So don't forget to give Markeisha a call at She Barber Cuts and see her at 2319 North Ridge, Barber Suite 6A here in Wichita, Kansas.
All right, let's kick it off with the villains. Let's talk about Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative was created by Dan Slott and Phil Jimenez. He first appeared in free comic book issue of The Amazing Spider-Man 1 back in May of 2007. A little bit about him, which is pretty interesting here. I mean, he's kind of a new character that we got going on, and his abilities are he's a criminal mastermind. He has dark force, beyond powers, and he is also one of the things. This is what makes him different is he's got a split personality. So I'm gonna kick it off with you, Brett. Tell me a little bit about Mr. Negative.
Mr. Negative. I never heard of Mr. Negative before. I started playing the video game. The Spider-Man video game where he's like you said, he's kind of like he deals in duality, kind of like he would be the Marvel's answer to Two-Face, where he has both light force and dark force powers. In the video game, not to give too much of the plot away if those who haven't played it by now. Aunt May ends up working for him through a philanthropist project. It's been a minute since I played it, but it comes to find out that he's this very sinister guy underneath all. After Peter Parker starts investigating and then becomes Spider-Man in order to stop him.
Yeah. What I've been reading up on him, I've never really seen him in the comic books because I'm used to the older, Spider-Man comic books and games. So I've never really seen him in action. But from what I've read up, he was a criminal, human trafficker and, a gangster, going around, being a criminal. Then he got caught up by, a bigger baddie, Silvermane, who decided to start, running test subjects on people, trying to, create, I guess what you want to say, mutants or people with abilities, and he developed these type of abilities, as you're saying, with the two different, light and dark. But mostly, it's the negative part that comes out, granting him that superhuman strength, healing touch, and controlling people's minds and switching in between, so he uses it, to enhance his, criminal, mastermind and, just wrecking stuff.
I think my first run-in with him was probably in Ultimate Spider-Man. He was a real bit character. He actually played like a henchman, so a villain sidekick, which was weird. He like weird, right? And then I'm also kind of familiar with him with video games, but it's the Match 3 Marvel Puzzle Quest. He's a character in there, but I do think that he's really cool. Well, as far as a villain goes, because of that that ability you're talking about, Don, where he can like flip the people's moral code essentially. But then you also have like the dual personality deal. Like Martin Lee isn't actually a bad guy. Like he doesn't like what Mr. Negative is doing. And Mr. Negative doesn't really like what Martin Lee's doing. It like a true split personality character, which is probably one of the reasons he's a newer character. As you know, mental health has come into the forefront in more recent years. You have things like true schizophrenia happening and showing this true duality, of course, to the superhuman level of being able to actually even make other people feel this duality as well. But so yeah, I think he's pretty cool. I'm curious to see if they expand him in any of the MCU and you know anything in a bigger screen version than these little snippets we've gotten.
They should. Now it makes me rethink. Now going to a McDonald's where I think it's Ronald McDonald and I think it's Ronald. Then he turns around and becomes Pennywise the Clown. That's kind of how it is. And the deal is that we're going to dive in more in depth of that character because someone behind the scenes, and we will talk about him later, is Dr. Simon Marshall. What he has done is done experimenting, and what has happened is he got Cloak and Dagger. We'll talk about in a second, and also he did get Mr. Negative. Now, Mr. Negative, we know that he took on that Martin Lee, which is not his real name. He was someone that came over from China, and he was thought to be a survivor, but he wasn't. He was actually part of the guys that were smuggling people in, and he took on that role. Now, on that, they experimented on him because he was working for the Magia, which is a crime syndicate, which we got to dive in. The Magia plays quite a bit in this world. They're all interconnected, and especially with the Spider-Man world as well. So we're going to give its due credit. But in the meantime, with Mr. Negative, one thing about him is that the guy is a genius. He finds a way to eradicate a whole crime syndicate group and become the leader. So I mean, this guy is just top of the notch type of guy. And the deal is that Spider-Man struggles with him. He struggles with him, and so he's out in the comic books. He's a regular. So keep your eye on him. And also, we will talk about a little bit more in depth when it comes to the Magia. We'll talk about like Hammerhead. We'll probably throw in Silvermane as well, because these are characters that will get their dues. All right, next up we have Despair. Despair was created by Chris Claremont and John Byron. I can't remember his name. Byron. I got to work on the name, you guys. You know, hey, I'm still amateur at this. Byrne. Yeah, let's go Byrne. And I apologize, Mr. Byrne, if that is your name. I apologize.
Sorry, sir. Doing my best.
Despair first appeared in Marvel Team Up issue 68 back in April 78. So a little about Despair. Despair is quite a bit of a unique character here. His powers range from superhuman strength and durability, levitation, telepathy, illusion casting, and creates fear in people and superheroes. So let's kick it off with you, Don. Tell me a little bit about Despair.
Yeah, he's another one of these characters I haven't really come much of across, but you know, just quick reading up on him and his abilities, you know, some of his nicknames, you know, and other people he, you know, affiliate with, like the Fear Lords, you know, they just dwell in darkness and just wreaking havoc, and they use people that, you know, envelop in darkness and try to, you know, basically, you know, pretty much evil and anybody that's opposite of them, because, you know, they want to keep everything in chaos. So they're your typical bad guys that like to dwell in darkness and keep everything. Yeah.
All right. Despair. Let's see. He's been kind of been a staple around Marvel Comics. He's battled people such as Cloak and Dagger. Also battled Doctor Strange. He's had a lot of legendary battles with Doctor Strange. I remember watching the live action series of Cloak and Dagger, and I think what was the first season, not to spoil it for anyone, he even makes an appearance in that one. He's a very, very, very bad dude. He uses the fear just by touching you, he can manipulate your worst fears and use them against you. And then give you these illusions of these illusions that there's hope. Thus, the meaning of the word despair.
That's indeed on top of that, it's kind of like what, and I forgot to do an addendum on this, but like Mr. Negative, he can also have control over you, and he was doing that for Spider-Man, by the way. He was knocking out people on, doing mind control, and also too with Despair, with his run-ins with Doctor Strange, he is in that realm where it opens up with Cloak and Dagger. He uses their powers. I mean, he's battled Man-Thing as well, and then he has dealt with, again, Spider-Man. Also, he's had his run-ins with the Invaders and the Avengers, and so he's a known character. Do you have anything more to say on him, Chris?
One thing I always like to look at, especially I think it's even more telling with villains, is like the time that they were created. So you're looking, he was created in 1978. What was really big and bad? We were talking about it before the show that came out around the same time. The Exorcist, right?
Exorcist, yeah.
So, and I mean, we're talking about a guy that's like a straight up demon, right?
Yeah.
So, and how does he influence them? But by perception and essentially taking control with fear of their body, and then you're like, and then that the more afraid you get, the stronger he gets. Like, what the heck? So I thought that was cool. Just the way that works. And what else here was it? I can't think of the other thing I was just thinking of. But I that's one thing that I really like to take is like how did this character originate? And a lot of that is based on the time. That's what was big at the time of creation. And I do think, as far as something to be scared of, that despair, and he lives off of fear, and
that goes back to Pennywise the Clown. Same thing. He uses,
but just the darkness
and also in that realm, it says here though that he gets a hold of the cosmic cube, and that enhances his power as well. And so, therefore, he's a force to be reckoned with. But thank goodness, around there, you've got when Doctor Strange has teamed up with Cloak and Dagger, they deal with him.
Yeah.
And so thank goodness, because he is sure a menace. So, yep, that is Despair. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
With spring here and all the storms on their way, you need to make sure you have the proper home, auto, and all your properties insured. We here at Razor Cut Information just can't get enough of our favorite insurance man, Ernie Ruelas. Please visit Ernie and his State Farm agency at 11330 East Central Avenue, Suite 400, Wichita, Kansas, 316-682-2300. Thank you so much, Ernie.
And the main event, we have Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger was created by Bill Mantlo and Ed Hanhan. They first appeared in Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man issue 64, back in March of 1982. So now we got to break this up because these are two characters. Now we'll start off with Cloak. Cloak has just got darkness powers in its whole essence. Flight, levitation, manipulation of fear, telekinesis, paranoia inducement, and he's got dark force power. Now, Dagger is a generating of light force. She can create light, speed, movements, reflexes, also be able to bend light around her, and also can create weapons with light itself. And they are both affiliated with the New Warrior, Secret Defenders, and Marvel Knights. They've also had teamed up with the X-Men, Secret Avengers, and the Runaways. So I'm going to kick it off with you, Brett. Tell me about Cloak and Dagger.
Let's see. Cloak and Dagger. Cloak. He was a runaway. Started with him. He was a runaway. Ran from home and his parents. He had a very bad speech impediment. When he seen a friend of his get shot by the police, and that his friend was the one who was helping him to get over his stuttering and to fix his speech impediment. And he felt like after his friend got shot, there was no hope outside of that because he had a very bad relationship with his folks. So he decided to get away. And the same with Dagger. She had a very bad relationship with her parent, but her stepfather tried to be the good person and tried to have a relationship with her, but she didn't want it, and she came from money, so she ends up running away too. And I think it was that she was about to get mugged, only to be saved by Cloak, and so the both of them, both runaways, get caught up and end up becoming a science experiment, which ends up making them Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah. Back on what Britt was saying, how they were runaways. It's kind of funny how they were opposites.
I'm the opposite of every guy you've ever met.
How she was running away from money while he was running away from, poverty in the same time and living on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
But then they get together, they kind of have this opposite relationship, which turns into something more because after they got caught up in, being experimented on, it's amazing how he has dark powers, she has light powers. So they kind of interchangeable with each other, but they can also use each other to calm each other down when their powers seem to get out of control. In my first experience with them, when I played the game Maximum Carnage back on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that's right.
So, they were used a lot of times, mostly with Tandy, because her light powers help affect the symbiotes, Carnage. And then, Cloak, he's just there to help support her in any way he can, but, using dark powers on them don't affect them too much. But, but they work together to help keep each other kind of, when one's powers get out of control, they can soothe each other, even though you would think that light and dark don't go together, but because of their special case, they have that symbiotic bond.
It's kind of like water and oil kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed too that in the comic books as well, they need each other.
Yeah.
Because Cloak can get pretty menacing, and the deal is Dagger is able to kind of control that, and then also too, she can't withhold that power for so long because that makes her sick, so she has to eat. It's kind of just a trade-off for each other.
Yeah, they have a real symbiotic almost relationship that's based almost like perfectly on opposites attract type of deal. Like you said, like one's from money, one's from poverty, one's white, one's black, one's light, one's dark. Like there's all these things, and they also care for each other in the same way, like the accepting the force, and it feels like a true like friendship relationship. Not it doesn't feel like one's trying to get with the other type of deal. Like it feels
They
like
do have a deep love for each other.
yeah, like a deep sibling, almost like a twin sibling type of deal of opposite, like twin opposites, sibling love and care for each other. I think my first iteration with it or finding them was probably in Ultimate Alliance video game, and then running across them, as we say about the Runaways, that they became a part of that storyline for a little bit, but then they did have that little spin-off series, season or two. I thought it was okay. I could have seen it going a little bit further, but
They
all that
should
stuff
have.
kind of got canceled about the same time.
I think it's because of COVID. A lot of stuff kind of got shut down and not.
Yeah,
extended.
well, they had them on weird channels and stuff, and it was before Marvel was really a full Disney product, I think, and so it fell through the gaps. And we saw other Marvel shows like Daredevil, and fingers crossed Jessica Jones maybe getting picked back up on the Disney side. I could see them maybe going. I don't know. I mean, now those are teen actors that are probably now in their 20s or 30s. So I don't know if they could use the same cast, but I like the whole concept of Cloak and Dagger. I'm a big fan of teams, and they are like they're always a team. That's their power is their team.
They've made also cartoon debuts as well.
Yes.
I'm aware of that also too. Cloak, which is his name is Tyrone Johnson. One of the things that I gotta admit was pretty neat is he can travel in reality and dimensions.
Yeah,
like it's
with that,
nothing.
yeah.
And
with
then
his
in the comic
dark
books,
force power.
in the comic books, he's able to absorb people and be like, "Hey, where did so and so go? I took him."
Took him to the dark force.
Yeah, just took him out there, and then it's just Dagger's able to be there to help him out. But I mean, indeed, Cloak had it rough in the TV series. Totally different from the comic book. So just be on the lookout on that. Now Dagger, in the show, Dagger showed that her father died, whatever. But that wasn't the case in the comic books. But what I really like about Dagger in this show here is she appreciates more the simple things in life that she wasn't doing when she was being raised, because her mother wasn't paying attention to her, and she's just kind of been left out there. And this relationship, like you said, is strong. Yeah. And so, I mean, they're a great team players with each other. But one of the things I hope they can expand on is like we mentioned before, they team up with the X-Men. They team up with Spider-Man at times, because in the comic books, Spider-Man kind of got them on, and he was helping out as well. But also too, can you imagine what was Doctor Strange's team, where he had all, like, it was him? I think was Scarlet Witch on his team as well.
Yeah,
they had
the Illuminati.
No, not the Illuminati. It's another group. They're it's got Agatha. I mean, it's a I can't remember.
It's all sorcerers.
Kind of, sort of. They're all like a team. Well, we got to look it up. I came unprepared for that, so we'll discuss that later on in a different episode. So, anything else with Cloak and Dagger? Just follow them on Disney Channel. They're on their first 2 seasons because it got canceled. And support local comic book stores.
I think I like the 80s drawing versions. They were, even though I know they were like teens, they had them as a little bit more grown up.
Yeah.
Than being little kitty boppers.
Yeah, speaking of that, shout out to our friend Dave that follows our show. He gave me an insight that he had the poster when he was a youngster. He had the poster of Cloak and Dagger. So shout out to you, my friend. I knew I wanted to bring that out. I'm not going to give away any more information because I don't want to be like, hey, you put my information out there. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and take a quick pause and thank our following sponsors.
Well, I don't know about you folks, but here at Sports Fellas, things can get, well, a nice right funk going on sometimes. And in that time of need, we turn to our friend Kimberly Sampson, our own personal Cincy independent consultant. She is our favorite star consultant, so for your scent needs, get a hold of Kimberly at heavenlyscentswithkim@gmail.com or visit her website, heavenlyscentswithkim.cincy.us. You can also call her at 316-282-7363. That's Kimberly Sampson at Cincy, our favorite independent consultant.
So that wraps up Cloak and Dagger. We're also going to be doing some other shows as well. Stay tuned on. Also, we're Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is out as well. And we are going to do a Super Mario Brothers review of the Silver Cosmo movie reviews. And don't forget, we've got Dune around the corner. We've got Doomsday, Supergirl. I mean, we've got a lot of shows coming up. Any shouts before we go, Chris?
Just a big shout out to the cast, crew, and all you guys out there listening. Thanks.
Hey, shout out to all those that like to put up with us, and we try to help y'all and inform y'all's characters. And we'll holler at you next show.
All right. Shout out to all cast and crew. Shout out to the fans who tuned in to listen, and to all our local comic book stores out there.
Oh, you're missing one last thing.
Huh? Oh yeah, I forgot. Hi, Mom and Dad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I gotta tell them that. Oh well, I want to do a special dedication to our astronauts that are flying around the moon. Congratulations, and just safe trip, safe journey, and make it back, please. That's all we need. We need to do on that. Also, want to wish the best to all the collegiate athletes in this basketball tournament coming up. We will talk about that on our Sports Fellow show. Also, as well. Shout out to some special, unique friends that tune into my show. I want to give a shout out to TIE Fighter. You know who you are, Naib. Also, Sierra. Hope you're getting better, my friend. And also, Christian as well. Thank you, guys. And, of course, Dooku and Curry. Thank you very much. And to you guys as well, tune into the show. Until then, we'll see you later. We're out.